2 months before our wedding, I woke up at 2 a.m. and found my fiancée sitting in the dark, scrolling through my old friend's Instagram likes like she was deciphering a crime scene. The same friend she made me cut off for our relationship. I don't know why I'm writing this now. Maybe I need to hear from strangers that I'm not crazy. That what happened wasn't just a misunderstanding like she keeps claiming. My name's Ben. I'm 29, work in IT for a medical software company in Chicago, and until about 6 weeks ago, I was engaged to someone I thought I knew. Her name's Olivia. She's 27, a freelance graphic designer with a serious love for true crime documentaries and a not-so-secret Pinterest board titled Our Wedding Sparkles that she'd been curating since the second month of us dating. We were together for almost 4 years. Moved in after one. Engaged by year 3. Most people looked at us and thought we were goals. I thought so too, until I started waking up every morning with a different version of her. Things started unraveling about 6 months before the wedding. And the weird part? It wasn't even our dynamic that changed at first. It was her attitude towards someone else, my friend Mallory. Mallory and I have known each other since freshman year of college. We weren't best friends or anything dramatic, but we had history. Lived in the same dorm, worked on the same volunteer project junior year, and even shared a friend group that still keeps in touch with semi-regular group chats. Important detail, Mallory's married. She lives in Denver now with her husband, and she's one of those people who posts pictures of dogs in bow ties and sunset hikes. She and I had always kept things strictly platonic, respectful. A few likes here and there, birthday messages, the occasional, wow, that's awesome, on a job promotion. But Olivia never liked her. At first it was subtle. Eye rolls when Mallory's name came up in conversation. Passive little comments like, she just seems very curated, doesn't she? Then one day she said it directly. Can I be honest with you? I just don't like how you talk about Mallory. It's like you light up. I laughed. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. The conversation escalated quickly from there. She told me it made her uncomfortable that I still interacted with Mallory online. Said it made her feel less than. That no woman would want her future husband following and liking another woman's selfies even if that woman was married and lived 1,000 miles away. Is it really worth our peace? She asked me. A couple Instagram likes? That question stuck with me. Because Olivia had a way of framing things like she was the one trying to keep us solid and I was the one selfishly destabilizing it. So I did what I thought was right. I unfollowed Mallory. Muted her stories. Stopped replying to her messages unless it was something major like a birthday or someone from our college crew getting married. I didn't tell Mallory why. I just faded out. I didn't want to make it awkward. Olivia noticed. She smiled and kissed me and said, "Thank you for hearing me." But the thing is, that wasn't the end of it. It never is it? 2 months before our wedding, I woke up thirsty around 2 a.m. I reached over, Olivia wasn't in bed. Figured maybe she had trouble sleeping. I walked into the living room, still groggy. And there she was, sitting cross-legged on the couch, my hoodie wrapped around her knees, phone screen glowing, staring, zooming in, flicking between pictures and comments like she was conducting an investigation. She didn't even hear me walk in. "What are you doing?" I asked, confused. She jumped, nearly dropped her phone. Tried to lock it, but I already saw the screen. Mallory's Instagram, open to a photo from a week ago. Her and her husband at some winery. Olivia had scrolled deep into the like list. And she wasn't just looking. She was screen recording it. When she realized I saw, she went pale. Then flushed. "Oh my God, you scared me," she said quickly, brushing her hair back. I couldn't sleep. I just stood there, heart pounding. "You're looking at Mallory's likes?" She shrugged. "I just had a weird feeling, okay?" I didn't even know how to respond. After everything, after I cut off contact, made it a point to respect her wishes, she was still obsessing? It wasn't jealousy anymore. It was obsession. Paranoia. Maybe even something darker. But I hadn't seen anything yet. Olivia didn't apologize that night. She didn't cry, she didn't even look that embarrassed. Instead, she laughed quiet and awkward and said, "Babe, don't make this a thing. I was just curious. That's all. Curious." That word hit me sideways. Like I was supposed to believe she just stumbled across Mallory's page, decided to scroll 84 weeks deep into a married woman's vacation photos and randomly checked who liked what. At 2 in the morning, while screen recording. She tried to wave it off, even got annoyed. "You're acting like I cheated or something." I was scrolling. God, people get stuck in rabbit holes all the time. But something in me snapped that night. Not anger. Not even heartbreak. Just this quiet, numbing sense of clarity. Because the more I stood there watching her justify it, the more I realized she'd probably never been secure about Mallory. And maybe that wasn't even the problem. Maybe it was never about Mallory at all. Over the next few days, I started to notice things I hadn't let myself see before, like how Olivia's jealousy had always come out sideways. Not loud, not dramatic. She wasn't the type to throw tantrums or break stuff. She was the type to plant seeds. She just seems like the type to flirt with everyone. You know? She still calls you Benji. That's kind of intimate, don't you think? Her captions are always so suggestive. It's weird for a married woman. Little comments, dripped over months. Just enough to make me feel like the problem was me. But after that night, something shifted. I started remembering things with a sharper lens. Like how she'd asked me to show her my Instagram DMs a year ago. Not in a "you're hiding something" way, but more like a joke. "I just want to see who's been shooting their shot," she teased. I thought it was funny. I handed her my phone. She scrolled for way longer than necessary. Or the time she saw me helping Mallory troubleshoot a Google Sheets issue over Messenger and said, "You're not her tech support. She has a husband. Let him help her." Back then, I took it as protectiveness. Now, felt like surveillance. And the worst part, I had started censoring myself around my own friends without even realizing it. I didn't share memes in the group chat unless they were 100% inoffensive. Didn't tag Mallory in old college throwbacks anymore. I even stopped joining the group Zooms when I knew she'd be on. I gave Olivia all of that. I handed over pieces of my social circle like they were bargaining chips. And she still went behind my back to lurk on the woman she said she didn't want in our lives. The irony made my stomach hurt. And here's the part that I didn't want to admit. Not even to myself. That night, after Olivia went back to bed, I stayed up. I opened a private tab on my browser and typed in Mallory's name. I hadn't looked at her page in months. She had no idea why I'd ghosted her. No message. No explanation. There was this guilt in my chest, like I'd been a bad friend. But what could I have said? "Hey, my fiancé doesn't trust you even though you've done nothing wrong, and I don't want to lose her. So, peace?" I scrolled for a while. Not for anything in particular. Just out of curiosity. Same word Olivia used. Except mine didn't come with accusations or secrecy. Mine came with regret. Because I realized that I'd cut off someone real, someone kind, for someone who didn't even know what she wanted except to control. And that's when the questions started. If she didn't trust me with Mallory, what else didn't she trust me with? The weirdest part, after that night, Olivia acted like nothing happened. She was chipper in the mornings, humming while she made coffee, asking me if I liked the new calligraphy fonts she was testing for the wedding invitations. "You still like navy and gold, right?" she asked, waving her iPad like we were in some wedding rom-com and not living a lie. I played along, smiled, nodded, kissed her forehead. But something inside me had cracked. And once that crack was there, it started letting in light. Light I couldn't ignore anymore. It was little things at first. I caught her checking my phone screen reflection in Windows. Not scrolling or unlocking, just watching. I noticed she'd deleted her browser history every day. She'd never done that before. We shared a laptop, used to laugh at each other's weird late-night YouTube spirals. Now everything was wiped. Clean slate, every time. Then there was the list. God, I wish I was making this up. It was a Thursday night. She had a Zoom call with a client, and I needed to print something for work. Her iPad was charging, so I grabbed her laptop. There was a Word doc still open on the desktop. Untitled. Just floating there. I clicked, and there it was. A bulleted list. Mallory, Denver. Married, but still posts thirst traps? Ben liked 3 photos in September. Who is Drew in comments? Check. A husband's name, Marcus. Works in finance? Jessica from gym. Watches Ben too much during lifts. Redhead. Cute. Seems flirty. Ask Ben again if they've ever hung out one-on-one. Randoms. Sarah L. Liked his hiking pic. Who is that? A DM from Emily HS? About dog photo? And under all of it, in bold, "You're not crazy. You're just finally paying attention." My chest got tight, like I'd swallowed a rock. This wasn't about one woman, or one moment of insecurity. This was a pattern. She was keeping tabs, tracking likes, reading into comments, inventing narratives. And the worst part, I didn't know how long this had been going on. Weeks? Months? A year? When she came out of her Zoom call, I must have looked pale. She asked if I was okay. I said I felt sick. She offered to make tea. I stared at her while she filled the kettle, humming to herself. Like she wasn't slowly building a dossier on the people in my life. Like she hadn't quietly convinced me to delete half my friend group from existence. Later that night, she curled up next to me in bed and whispered, "I'm so glad we're in a better place." I was scared we'd start drifting. Drifting. That word felt so ironic. I wasn't drifting. I was drowning. And I was starting to think she was the one holding my head underwater. I held out for 3 more days. 3 days of pretending I wasn't unraveling inside. 3 days of letting Olivia talk about RSVP counts and honeymoon destinations like everything was fine. 3 days of smiling through her little checking-in moments. "You seemed distracted earlier. Are we good? You're not still mad about that night, right?" Each time I said something safe, something that bought me more time. But my silence was rotting me from the inside. So I broke it. Saturday afternoon, I took a walk around the neighborhood. Didn't even tell Olivia I was leaving, just grabbed my hoodie and phone and left. I walked 2 blocks. Then I opened Messenger. Mallory's name was still there. Our last message was from almost 6 months ago. Her, congrats on the engagement. She's beautiful. So happy for you too, heart me, thanks Mal means a lot, smiling face with smiling eyes. That was it. That was the last normal moment. Before the fade out. Before I ghosted her for the sake of peace. I hovered over the keyboard for maybe 5 minutes before I finally typed, "Hey, can I ask you something? It's kinda weird. I know it's been a minute." I hit send before I could regret it. She replied 3 minutes later. "Of course. What's up?" Just like that. No bitterness. No guilt trip. No, "Wow, now you care?" Just kindness. We ended up on a call that night. She was sitting on her porch in Denver, glass of wine in hand, laughing softly when I apologized for disappearing. "Ben," she said, "I figured it wasn't you. I assumed it was her. That stopped me." "You knew?" "I didn't know, no," she said, "but I could guess." It started feeling weird. Like you'd gone from being this normal, goofy friend to this version of you that was constantly editing himself. She told me she'd noticed the pattern with Olivia even before I had. She didn't like me. I felt it the first time I met her. Not openly rude, just possessive. Like I was trespassing on something. I stayed quiet. Then she added, "But it got worse after you got engaged. Like clockwork. I'd post a hiking photo and you'd like it, then unlike it. I'd tag you in an old college pic and the tag would vanish an hour later. That wasn't you. That was her." I felt a mix of shame and relief swirl in my chest. Because she was right. That was her. But it was also me. Because I let it happen. I let Olivia talk me into isolating myself from people who cared about me. Not through threats. Not through anger. But through subtle guilt. Through sighs and looks and one-sentence judgments that made me second-guess everything. Mallory paused for a second, then asked, "Ben, are you okay?" And I just sat there. On a curb near a Walgreens parking lot. Phone warm against my cheek. And I realized that no one, not even my own fiancé, had asked me that in weeks. Months, maybe? Honestly, I said, "I don't know." We talked for almost an hour. Mostly about dumb college memories. But near the end, I asked her something I hadn't planned on. "Did she ever message you? Or say anything weird?" She was quiet for a moment. Then said, "No. But once, about a year ago, she viewed my Instagram story 47 times in a row." I laughed. I couldn't help it. A sad, tired, almost delirious laugh. "Guess she just wanted to be really sure you were married," I said. Mallory didn't laugh. She just said, "Ben, I know you loved her. But you don't have to stay somewhere that makes you shrink." That line stayed with me long after we said goodbye. You don't have to stay somewhere that makes you shrink. I didn't plan to confront her that night. Honestly, I didn't plan to say anything yet. I thought I'd wait. Maybe talk to a therapist, figure out how to untangle a wedding from a relationship that no longer made sense. But then she asked me a question at dinner that flipped a switch I didn't know I had. We were eating pasta. Well, I was pushing mine around the plate. She had this Pinterest perfect dish, rosemary bread, a glass of white wine, candles lit for ambience. She looked up between bites and said, "Have you sent out your groomsmen gift boxes yet?" That's when it hit me. We were 2 months away from saying I do. 2 months away from standing in front of 100 people and pretending we were solid. And I didn't even want to be at the dinner table with her. I looked at her and said, "We need to talk." She blinked. "About what?" I set my fork down. "About the list." Her face didn't change, no panic, no fear. Just a flicker of irritation. "What list?" "Don't play dumb. You know what list." She paused, then gave a little shrug, like she was annoyed I had crossed some line. "Okay. And? I stared at her, waiting for an apology, an explanation, a human reaction. Instead, she said, "It's not like I hacked into anything. It was on my own computer. You went looking." My jaw clenched. "So I'm the problem now?" She didn't answer that, just tilted her head slightly and said, "Why are you acting like this? You said you'd moved past the Mallory thing." "Because it's not just Mallory," I snapped. "It's everyone. It's my whole life you've been keeping tabs on like you're curating what I'm allowed to see, who I'm allowed to talk to." "That's not true," she said. "I've never told you who you can talk to." "You made me feel like I had to choose," I said, my voice cracking. "You never said it directly, but every time I brought up a woman's name, you'd freeze. You'd get weird. You'd sigh or ask these loaded questions like, is she prettier than me? Or why does she always reply so fast? You made it impossible to just exist without guilt." She shook her head. "You're being dramatic." That word, dramatic, it landed like a slap. I stood up and pushed the chair back harder than I meant to. "I'm not being dramatic. I'm being honest. I let you convince me to cut off people who cared about me. Good people. I stopped texting Mallory back. I declined invites. I edited myself into someone you could trust. And all that time? You were still stalking her page at 2 in the morning." Olivia stood too, arms crossed. "I had a gut feeling. And I trusted you," I shot back. "That should have been enough." She went quiet then. For a long moment, she just looked at me like she didn't recognize me. And then she said the thing that broke it all. "I just didn't want to end up being the girl who got cheated on and didn't see the signs." I froze. "That's what this was about?" I asked. "You thought I'd cheat?" "I didn't think it," she said. I've seen it happen to too many people. They ignored the signs. They trusted too much." I sat back down. Slowly. My heart was thudding, but now it wasn't rage. It was something else. Sadness. A deep, hollow sadness. "Olivia," I said quietly, "if you think love means predicting betrayal, then you don't trust anyone." "Not really." She looked down like she wanted to argue but couldn't find the words. "I never gave you a reason not to trust me," I continued. "And if you'd asked me to prove it by standing by you, supporting you, protecting you, I would have done it 100 times over. But instead, you made me prove it by cutting out parts of my life." Silence. The candles flickered. Somewhere outside, a car door slammed. We were frozen in that tiny kitchen, surrounded by a wedding planning binder, RSVP cards, and little chalkboard signs we were supposed to use for the reception bar. Finally, she said, "So what do you want to do? Cancel everything?" "I don't know yet," I said. "But I know I can't marry someone I have to constantly reassure I'm not the enemy." She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just nodded slowly and whispered, "I didn't think it would come to this." Neither did I. I left the dishes. Left the ring on the table. Packed a bag and stayed with my brother that night. Told him everything. For the first time, I didn't minimize it. Didn't sugarcoat. And you know what he said? "Took you long enough?" I wish I could tell you I woke up the next day feeling lighter. Like I'd finally freed myself. But I didn't. I woke up on my brother's pull-out couch, neck aching, head pounding, and heart split in 2. He'd left a cup of coffee on the table with a sticky note, "Whatever happens, you did the right thing." I stared at it for a long time. Because the truth is, even when you walk away from something toxic, it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like losing at first. Losing the version of your future you'd invested in. The one you pinned your hopes to, dressed up in Pinterest boards and registry items. I checked my phone. Olivia hadn't called. No texts. Nothing. Which was weird. She was the type to need the last word. Or at least the last emotion. Silence wasn't her style. I stayed quiet for a day. Then, too. On day 3, I got a call from a mutual friend, Devin, one of the groomsmen. He sounded awkward as hell. "Hey man, so, Olivia posted something weird. You okay?" My stomach dropped. I opened Instagram. Her story was filled with cryptic slides, white text on black background. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. You think you know someone until the truth comes out. I'm not here to explain myself anymore. Then one slide that made my blood run cold. Turns out he was talking to her behind my back. Guess I wasn't crazy after all. Mallory. I slammed my phone down and immediately called her. She picked up on the second ring. Please tell me you didn't see her story, I said. I did, Mallory said calmly. It's fine. It's not fine, I said. She's implying we had something going on. Mallory sighed. Ben. I'm not surprised. I started pacing. What should I do? Do I post something back? Do I call her? Absolutely not, she said firmly. You don't owe anyone a public explanation. She's spiraling because you finally stepped out of her control. Let her have her narrative if she needs it. You know the truth. So do I. Her steadiness calmed me more than I expected. But it still burned how quickly Olivia flipped the script, made herself the victim again. Then came the twist. That night, I got a message request on Facebook from a woman I didn't recognize. Name was Camille. Her profile was private, but her message said, Hey, I don't know you, but I think I know your ex. Just wanted to give you a heads up, you're not the first guy she's done this to. And probably not the last. I stared at the screen. What? I replied, Can you explain? She sent back a voice note. Camille sounded tired, like someone who'd already lived through her own version of the story. She said she dated Olivia's ex, a guy named Nate, about 2 years before me. And when their relationship started getting serious, Olivia, who had stayed friends with Nate post-breakup, inserted herself back into the picture. Subtly at first, then obsessively. She made a fake account pretending to be one of my friends, Camille said. Used it to catch me liking photos of other guys. Then sent the screenshots to Nate. Eventually, Camille confronted Olivia directly. Olivia played innocent. Said she was just looking out for a friend. Sound familiar? I asked Camille how she found me. She said she saw Olivia's story and recognized the behavior. Did a little digging? Connected the dots. I don't want anything from you, she said at the end. I just didn't want you to think you were crazy. She's got a pattern. And it's not your fault. I didn't respond right away. I just sat there, staring at the wall as everything rewired in my brain. It had never been about Mallory. It had never been about me. It was about control. Fear. The need to manipulate every variable to prevent betrayal, even if it meant becoming the very betrayal she feared. And the cruel irony? In trying to preemptively guard herself from being abandoned, Olivia made herself impossible to stay with. It's been 5 weeks since I left. The wedding's off. Some deposits were non-refundable. I don't care. I've moved into a small apartment a few blocks from my brother. Got a couch I picked out myself. A second-hand espresso machine that I love more than I should. And peace. Real, actual peace? Mallory and I? We still talk. Not in a romantic way. Just like friends again. Like we were before all of this. And for now, that's enough. Because I'm rebuilding. Not just my schedule or my space. But the parts of myself I handed away one by one, thinking I was being a good partner. It's funny. Olivia always said she wanted a man who was fully committed. But maybe what she really wanted was someone fully contained. I was never unfaithful. But I was unfaithful to myself for far too long. Not anymore.